Well, welcome, folks, to this our Q&A with Montrose FC's manager, Mr. Stuart Petrie.
Woo! Good evening, Ross and
Evening,
Brian. He's in the background somewhere. Good man, that's good to hear.
First thing I'm going to say is just a big thank you to the Montrose Community Trust for organising this for us this evening, because they've gone to the fans, got the questions that are going to be put to you this evening. So a big thank you to both of those guys, the Trust, and to all our faithful Montrose FC fans out there.
Definitely. It's no surprise that the Trust is doing something useful and trying to bring the fans into it and just give us a wee insight. So, yeah, good on them.
Now, I'm not going to start with a question. I'm going to start with a congratulations. A massive congratulations on your Manager of the Month for December. Must be delighted.
All right, it's that's said before, when these achievements are handed out, it's nothing to do with one individual, a manager, or anything like that. It's to do with the entire squad, coaching staff and players. So it's an award for us all, I guess. And the one thing about it is we've not got the manager's curse of getting Manager of the Month and losing the next game. So that's one thing. But yeah, no, it's great for the club. Being recognised that we've had a super December, there's no question of that, and obviously stopped in my tracks again. But yeah, we'll see if we can pick that up again at some stage. But yeah, no, it's always nice to get these awards. But as I say, it's more about the rest of the coaching staff and the playing staff and everybody connected with the football club. That's who the award goes to, not an individual, Ross.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody takes some joy in it, that's for sure.
Without a doubt.
Okay, well, we've got eight questions this evening, and some of them I've got two parts to them. So there's quite a lot for you to answer. So we'll crack on. Here's number one.
Yeah.
So, how far do you think you are along with the project at Montrose, and do you think we can reach the championship within the next 2 to 4 years?
Glad there were 4 on end of that and never just the 2. But I guess when we took over the job, that the goal was to get us to be the best club in Angus. So stated that on record that's what I wanted to do within the club, get us as high up the leagues as we could, but certainly be a leading club in the 4 clubs in Angus. And I feel we're on our way. We've certainly made strides in the last 4 years now. As you as 4 years, we've certainly made strides, probably quicker than we thought we would to start with. We're getting a promotion within the second year. And then obviously consolidating in the last 2 seasons with good finishes in the league. So it's work in progress, as I've said all along. We're not there yet, that's for sure. I think when you look at our growth, there's certainly a benchmark for part-time clubs. When you see positions around them in Alloa, there's certainly the benchmark. As I say, they're staying in that league, they're comfortable in the league. So it's certainly that's where we want to be eventually. I don't think that it's one where we'll need to rush into getting into the championship, if I'm being honest. I'd rather do it the right way and build the squad as we're building, adding to it year on year, rather than us getting in and things might go wrong, whereas you end up signing 8-10 players to try and stay in the championship, and all of a sudden you find yourself going back out the championship. So we'd much rather do it. We're building our squad like we're doing, bringing people through. People on longer term contracts, having that continuity within the club rather than us having a huge upheaval. So yeah, whoever put the question, the 2 to 4 years, certainly maybe closer to 4 years, but certainly something we'd like to strive for. There's no point in being in the playoffs. Obviously, the Queen of South game, and then last year when the league finished early, we were in the playoff position. So there's no reason why we can't strive to be in playoffs. And once you're in playoffs, then it's anybody's shot, Ross, I guess. So it's something that we would love to do, but I want to do it the right way. I want to make sure, as I say, we're doing it with the bulk of the squad signed with the club and coming through, and the ethos is the same way, that the way we want to play and the way we want to create the dressing room that we're doing at the moment. So, yeah, we're happy where we're at. but it is work in progress. There's no doubt about that. We're still a few short, but the guys are doing great. So, and we'll continue to strive to get better and better, and hopefully the end goal is that we become the best club in Angus. But as I say, you can see where Arbroath are, and they're certainly a benchmark for us to get to. No doubt about that.
Super. So you got until 2025. Okay.
2025. That's if I'm not sacked before then. You might be asking somebody else that question in a couple of years' time.
Right. Question number 2. With the number of our own young players showing promise earlier in the season, do you reckon we could see a few of them breaking into our first team over the coming years?
It's something that I'm a massive advocate of is youth football and youth coming through. We had it when I was assistant manager at Arbroath and we were successful with the 19s, and probably half a dozen came in and played first team games, and some scored goals in the first team at Arbroath. So it's something I'm a huge advocate of, and so is the football club. I think we're one of the very few clubs that actually have a youth set up, which is it's a massive commitment from the club and from volunteers, coaches, parents, everybody else that goes with that to make this happen. So we have got guys who went from the 18s. Some of the guys would have maybe seen them on the TV playing earlier on in the season, playing against Stirling Albion. So a few of them did play the season, and we've had previous years we've had them in the team. The younger ones, we do have what we're classed as a development squad out at the moment, and they're playing local juniors. So the guys are keeping an eye on them. We've got a group of them out playing, and then what happens, just to give you a clearer picture of it, on a Tuesday night, there's 3 are invited in to train with the first team. So that might be either the older ones, the over 18s that are out on the development squad, or the under 18s, which are currently Gary's in charge of them. So there'll be 3 of them either come in, or it'll be 3 older ones come in. They come in on a Tuesday night, and that was obviously before the second lockdown as such. They would come in on a Tuesday night and they train with the first team. So again, it's just trying to get them into the training, into the environment of pushing yourself, striving to be better, bringing them in to show them the culture that we have at the club, within doing the strength and conditioning right through into the way the first team trains. So again, it's just giving them a little taste of what it can be if they can strive themselves to get to that level. So there'd be nobody more proud of me than we could bring 3 or 4 younger ones through into my first team squad in the next 2 or 3 years. There's some exciting ones younger down between the 16s and 18s. Some exciting prospects that we are excited about. We're not getting kidded on. It's difficult to bring ones through. If you look at over Scottish football in general, there's not many clubs that are bringing younger ones through. So it is a challenge, and it's only due to the hard work of the coaching guys with Hunty and Scotty and Gary and the other ones that are connected to all the coaches that are down helping with the younger ones that give us this opportunity to do it. And we're thankful for that. So the answer to the question is I'd love to, if we could. Ultimately, the guys will have to be good enough to push, and if they do get a chance on the park, it's to make a difference. There's no point in them being in the first team squad just for the sake of being in the first team squad. And with as you might see when you see some certain other clubs that they have young boys on the bench but they've no intention of playing them, that wouldn't be the case with anybody that's on the bench for Montrose is on the bench for a reason, that they can come on and make a difference and make a massive thing about substitutions. They get a lot of stick from the guys for, but if the guys are good enough and ready, it'd be over the moon if we could bring some local youngsters into our squad. So that's what we're striving to do. That's the end goal, and I've told the coaches that as well, and we will be a lot more proactive within, even myself going to watch them, being part of the training, things like that. The great thing is we can get the guys down on a Tuesday and have a look at them, and it'll hopefully snowball from there. I guess unfortunately this season's just been, up in the air with everything that's going on with COVID and things like that, and the guys are now stopped. I know they're still trying to do things away from the training, but it's difficult. It's like our first team. It's difficult to see what the guys are doing and know what they're doing, and hopefully they're managing to tick over in their own way. And the young ones are the same. I know Gary has been speaking to them as well through possible Zoom meetings, things like that. So we're hoping we can keep them ticking over until such times as we're all safe and can get back playing. But yeah, the bottom line is I would love it if we could certainly bring 2 or 3 through. Bring 1 through would be great, Ross. You guys might know better than me. The last local lad to come through and play for Montrose, I don't know when it was. It certainly wasn't in my time. So it would be great if we could get that. But we're certainly striving for it. That's why we've got the youths in the set in place, and it's a fantastic setup. Don't know if any of the guys are aware of what the results have been, but if you follow the younger ones, they've had some unbelievable results against the big teams, so-called anyway. So, and they're full-time teams that we're actually turning over on a regular basis. So it's full credit to the coaching staff and parents and everybody that helps out with these younger ones. So it's couldn't praise them high enough.
Yeah, Kyle McLeod is about the last boy I can think of that was a local lad that played for us. That's a few years ago now.
Yeah.
Right, question number 3. We seem to have built up a good relationship with some full-time sides in the Premier League and Championship over the last few seasons, and have had some really good young players on loan. Do you see this going from strength to strength in coming seasons, and how important is this for our club?
I think it's vital for all clubs. Never mind just Montrose. That it's something that we don't try and abuse as such or overload our team with loan players. It's something I'm very keen not to do. I think you see some clubs that might have 6. You can have 6 loan players this season. It's certainly something that I wouldn't be going down the line of. I'd much rather the majority of our squad is our own signed players that we'll work with on a weekly basis, twice a week. But yeah, I guess we've got a great relationship with Aberdeen. Obviously, I've worked with Paul for a number of years at Arbroath, and I know the manager and assistant manager well there as well. So great relationship with them. Dundee United's another one that we've got a really good relationship with. Hearts now as well. Ross knows them really well with his connection at Oriam with Hearts training there. So they're certainly 3 of the clubs that come to the forefront. I think what probably does it is that they know how we train and know how we want to try and play the game. So it encourages younger ones to come to us, enjoy. They get a chance to showcase their talents. They get a chance to express themselves. We certainly just don't tell them to play in a certain way. You're trying to bring talented young laddies who, as you've seen in seasons gone by, how good they can be. So it's something that we strive to do and give them that freedom to express themselves. But I guess they're looked after from the way we train to the way we try and play the game. I'm not saying it happens every Saturday. You sit slightly in front of me as well and you'll hear me shouting and a few chosen words at times. But yeah, the way we want to play the game is certainly a passing game and be open and expansive if we can. So we will want to try and do that. So that encourages kids to come in and play, whether they be 17, 18, 19, 20. So I think you've seen that this year. The 3 that we've brought in this year have been a breath of fresh air to us. Obviously, Cammy's come back from a loan spell last year. And again, there's another one, St Johnstone. We've had players in from St Johnstone now as well. So again, with Callum there, we've got a good relationship with that one as well. So it's great that way. We do treat the guys well, and we keep their club informed. We're always speaking to them regarding how their development is going. So, and I see it as a development, and if we can be part of some youngster pushing on to play in Dundee United's first team or St Johnstone's first team or Aberdeen, then great. Hearts' team, whoever it is, whoever we bring in over the course of the season, then great. But it's an important part of it. But the recruitment's got to be right, Ross. I think too many times you see loan players come in and they sit on the bench and don't get on, or they get 5-10 minutes here. We're certainly, and we treat it as if it's kind of like signing a player. They need to be as good, if not better, than what we already have. There's no point in them coming in just to to fill a number. I'd rather run with smaller squads. So the three that have come in have certainly improved us. They all bring a certain part to our team that makes us better. And I think you've seen that over the course of the season. The three guys that are with us just now. Last season we had Senna, who'd done well. He's went back to Partick Thistle. He's earned himself a new contract this season already. So good on him. So if we can be part of people's development to play full-time football, that's one of the reasons we're here as well. So it's great. So yeah, it's very important, but we'll make sure we don't, I guess, flood our team with loan players, and I would never do that. I think 3 or 4 is enough, especially now. I think the loans change slightly where you need to take them for half a season minimum, or a season, like we're trying to do with these guys. I think whereas before you could go for a month at a time, but because it's now extended to a longer period, and you must make sure that they're going to add something to the squad, and which these guys have done, and they're great characters as well for young boys. Young Chris is only 17-year-old, and the ability that lad's got is scary at times when you watch him train with us. And then Harry, you think he's been around for forever just because he scored the goal, and I think he was 16 when he scored against Celtic, so he's still a young lad learning the game. And then Bally, for me, has been exceptional all season for us. And we're very fortunate again to have them. So yeah, of course it's important because it can just finish your squad off. It means you're not, and we all see how difficult it is to bring in players that are good players and have the right character. So the loan market's certainly an important one for a hell of a lot of clubs, not just Montrose Football Club. I watched the game last night, and the Livingston goalkeeper's on loan from Rangers. So and they're in the top 6 of the Premier League. So it shows how important it is, and then we certainly use it to the best. We've brought some really good ones in over the years. At times they'll come in and they won't work. That's just part and parcel, I guess, of it when they're young lads that they might settle, they might not settle. In the club, these three have. In seasons gone by, we've had some real successes, and other times it's maybe been more a miss than a hit with some of the ones that's come in. But in general, we've been really happy since I've come to the club with the loan ones.
Yeah, so, as you said, the guys you mentioned tonight, they've been brilliant for us. Right, question number 4. What are the key factors that motivate players to want to come to play for Montrose, assuming that wages are not as high as other part-time clubs, particularly for Central Belt players?
Yeah, we're certainly not going to get kidded from the fact that we're not the highest paid players in the league, that's for sure. So I guess what we've done and since we've come in is we train a certain way, we're treated a certain way from the board of directors right down to Ronnie in the kit, to Anne after games, with the guys getting food after games. So we try and treat the boys as best we can, and we do that. There's no question at it. Probably argue anybody to say that if there's a better run club than Montrose at part-time level, I'd like to see it because the way the guys are treated. So that spreads out throughout players. We'll back ourselves as a coaching staff that our training's good. I'll let others judge on how good they think it is, but I would say it's certainly good. And that word spreads as well. Players talk, there's no doubt about that. So as soon as I'll be speaking to any player who I want to bring to the club, once we've done our due diligence on the player and make sure they have the right character as much as their ability, because we certainly want to bring the right characters into the club. I don't want to be having, and I better watch because one type of players I want to bring in, but could try and boot me or something. But no, so they need to be the right character. And then, as I say, the way we train, the professionalism of the training, I think is second to none, or as good as it can be for us at our level. We'll have Stuart McFarlane, who's strength and conditioning coach. So before COVID, the guys would be with Stuart at Perth College doing strength and conditioning work, then down onto the field with myself, Ross and other coaches. And a Thursday again at strength conditioning with plyometrics, very professional. We've got heart rate monitors for the guys. We put food on after training. Obviously, just now you can't do that, but but we've got a generous sponsor from Andy Stirling. So Andy's supplies us with fruit for the guys for after training on a Tuesday and a Thursday. There's milkshakes here for them. So we try and treat players as best we can. Ross, I'm very honest in the way that I manage as well, that I'll speak to players if the reason why they're not playing in the team. And again, some will disagree with you, of course they will. Everybody's got a different view on things, but you try and be as honest as you can with players and treat them with a bit of respect as well. Because ultimately they're giving up time as well to come to the club, whether you're paying them or not. You want to come and enjoy yourself, because what some of these guys are getting paid, they could probably get more by working overtime as whatever they're doing in their trade, working a couple of late nights or something. So we do treat them with a hell of a lot of respect, and you get that back from the guys. There's no doubt about that. So the message goes out. It's all I could say, that players talk. So you know how clubs train. It's a fairly close-knit circle as such, a footballer that'll talk. So we do pride ourselves on how we train, how we treat the players, and ultimately it's when they come up on a Saturday and they're upstairs with yourself and they're mingling with directors. I don't know how many clubs do that, but there'll not be a lot of clubs do that, that's for sure. So yeah, it's I guess it's a two-way thing that you're hoping to get it back from the guys, and we've certainly had that over the years since I come in. So and long may it continue, because ultimately, if it's a case of players are just going to chase a few more pounds, then they'll get it elsewhere. If they want to come and strive to improve and test themselves and train at a high level with an intensity about it, then they can come to us and enjoy themselves. But as I say, if it's a simple case of that, it comes down to money, then more times than not, we may well miss out, which I have done over the 4 years. We have missed out, and it's not through the board saying no, it's through myself saying no, that I don't think that's the right type we want to bring to the club. So we've certainly missed out on players over the years, and we'll continue to do so. But it's yeah. So I guess that's where we're at with that. We're certainly building something that players appreciate when they come in and train. Some players won't. You'll fall out with players over the course of seasons, of course you will, but in general, I'd like to think when I shake somebody's hand at the end of they've been at the club, that they've enjoyed their time, they've enjoyed the training, and they've enjoyed being part of something on a Saturday, which is special when you even buy from 1:30 to 5:30 or 6 o'clock, whenever they've been upstairs speaking to yourselves and directors, and then they head home.
Yeah, I think it's refreshing to talk about something different than just money, and they're definitely part of something bigger at Montrose, that is for sure.
Yeah.
Right, number 5. It's pretty rare in modern football to have players stay at a club for any length of time. How does it feel having the core of your squad with so much experience in a mo shirt? And given recent announcements, does it give you pride that so many players want to commit long term to you and the club?
I think it gives you immense pride that guys want to be part of it. They want to be part of the journey we're on. They're buying into what we're trying to achieve at the club. We're going to get knockbacks, and we're going to get some things will not be as good as others. But it's there's no question when you look around. Terry Masson would have had his testimonial last year.
Yeah. I mean that's just shows you how long it's been.
Yeah. So Terry would have been his testimonial last year, and we'll be looking to do that this year for Terry. Paul Watson will be coming up for his 10-year service at the end of his contract. Graham Webster's not far away from it. Andy Steves has been at the club, I believe, 6-7 years. Jan will have been at the club 6 or 7 years. Flem's been a while at the club. Even Ross. So all these guys were at the club before I came in. So yeah, I think it's great that they want to stay and be part of something. Even the other ones now coming in, Kerr, Aidan, Matty Allen, all signing longer term contracts with us. Liam, Louis Millen signed a new contract. So I think it's great. I really do that we'll have that continuity, because I think it bodes well for the football club, because if John and the director decide it's time for me to move on, then we've certainly left the club in a better place, and whoever would take over is going to take over with a decent squad. Yeah, that's for sure. If it's not to be myself continuing, but no, it's. I think it's fantastic when you have players wanting to commit to the football club and not go elsewhere. There's not many have left us over the 4-year period. There's obviously, you're going to move people on because it's either just not worked out for them. It's the right time to change that. Sometimes you get criticised for keeping too many players. So I guess it's finding that balance of keeping the squad fresh, keeping the squad hungry, but showing a bit of loyalty to players as well. And you do get that back from them. There's no question of that. So, we've got some big milestones coming up for some of the guys in the next, hopefully, few months and next couple of years, which is great. To be part of it there's not many people get to testimonial stage now, and we're certainly fortunate that we've got guys who, and the beauty with that for me, Ross, is they've got Montrose best interests at heart. There's no question of that, and they want the best for the football club. So when you have 3 or 4 of them in your team, it gives you a start, it gives you an advantage straight away. They're here for a reason, and it's more than just playing for a football team. They've certainly got a hell of a lot of affection for Montrose, like myself. So it becomes a special club the longer you're at it, and hopefully that'll continue with the younger ones coming through, and we'll build the team around these guys that are in their early 20s and they're at Montrose for a long time, unless they're fortunate enough, we're fortunate enough that we've done that well, that these guys have moved on to full-time football, because that's the only reason you're hoping that they're now going to leave, unless they get an unbelievable offer elsewhere in the part-time circle. Financially, again, as I say, these guys could possibly get more money elsewhere. There's certainly ones who could get more money elsewhere, that I've no doubt, but they want to stay here for a reason, and if I'm a small part of that, then it's great. It's great, but the bigger picture is, as I say, is how you're treated at the club from the board of directors right down to Ronnie. So, and it goes right through the club, and you can see that when guys come in. So you see the affection I have for the football club. So yeah, if I'm part of it going a long way, great. If it's not to be me and it's somebody else, then good as well.
I don't think you've got anything to worry about at the moment, pal. I think you're absolutely fine. Of course, I'm not the chairman.
Exactly, yeah. That's easy for you to say.
Right, question number 6.
I've just got a text from the chairman there. Got a meeting tomorrow.
We're cutting this short.
Yeah.
Question number 6. As manager, this is good. As manager, what 3 top flight managers, past or present, do you most admire and why?
Well, could be here a while, that question. Which 3 top flight managers, past or present, do I most admire?
Yes, and why?
I think it'll probably be like most guys, most players, most supporters. Alex Ferguson sticks out a mile like a sore thumb. How long he was in the game, where he came from, where he started, challenges he took on, and what he achieved as a manager is ridiculous. So certainly that's one that if anybody could get anywhere near close to his achievements, then you're doing some job. Arsene Wenger, I loved when he was at Arsenal and the way Arsenal played the game. I thought he changed the way people thought about football, from even just diets to after a game, cool downs or whatever they were called in them days, stretching, things like that, and I just loved watching Arsenal play the game of football. So them two down south. God, 3. I could be here all night giving you examples of managers. I guess when you watch the game now, I guess we all want to be Pep Guardiola. The way he thinks about football and the way his teams play football, but sometimes we can get carried away thinking we're Man City or we're Barcelona or we're Bayern Munich and we're going to pass it to death from the back and right through all the areas of the park. But certainly his philosophy on football is great. But I think you can point out these managers who have been at the highest level. But I'm obviously very friendly with Dick, and the way Dick's managed over the years and coached is ridiculous. I believe it's on like 700 games he's been a manager. So on that and his achievements is at part time. For me, there's no better manager at our level than Dick. On a Saturday, his pre-match stuff and during the game and all that is just absolutely second to none. So I've learned a hell of a lot from him in the way how to manage part-time players. Bear in mind, Dick had done well with full-time as well, but so he's certainly one that I speak to regular and I'll get advice from regarding things. So certainly look up to him, and as I say, the longevity of these guys in the game is ridiculous. That they keep coming back and promotion after promotion and playoff after playoff and winning leagues. It needs to be admired. But there's plenty of these cases all over lower leagues in Scotland and England. I think it's easy just to say Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger because you see them on the TV and you watch them a lot. But when it probably comes to Scotland, it would be Dick would be the one that would stand out for me. There's no question of that.
It's such a difficult question because so many managers offer something else, something different.
Managers you played under, you try and take every little bit out of them. I guess when you're younger, you watch my words because Brian will be bleeping me again. But you just get in and you just train and you don't think about it. But as you get older, you start thinking along the line, especially if you are thinking about going into coaching and you're. Then when you do go into coaching and you think back, so that's why you did that or that's why you did this. So you try and take little bits from everybody that you've played under because they've all got good points. Don't get me wrong, it's like myself, we've all got bad points. You ask certain players what they think of me and they'll gladly tell you. But yeah, so you just try and take a little bit from each of them. But certainly as far as up here, it's for me, Dick, the way he's managed over the years and how he still has the motivation and the enthusiasm and gets the best out of players. Because ultimately, we could put the best coaching sessions on anywhere, but ultimately it comes down to Saturday from 3 o'clock to 4:45 or whenever the kick-off is. It's that 90 minutes that you'll be judged on. We all want to train well, we all want to do the right things, but ultimately the manager's got to get these guys up for a game and make sure if changes need to be made, then he makes his changes. So when you think Dick's done that over the decades, it's remarkable.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could argue with that, that's for sure. Right, number 7. Having recently celebrated the 4th anniversary of your first managerial role, what are the main differences in your managerial style today compared to how you first approached the job in 2016?
Maybe less swear words now, I think, maybe.
Is that because of Zoom?
Because of Zoom, yeah. I'd probably like to think that I've not changed that much. You guys might know better than me, or you might see a change in me. I'd like to think I haven't changed. The way I've wanted to manage since I got into coaching and worked with other managers, as there was a player coach under Dick to start with Ross County to an assistant manager at the clubs I've been at as well. So you're thinking all the time of how you want to manage. So I'd like to think I've not changed a lot. regarding that. I try and treat everybody as honest as I can. We do similar things to what we've done. Obviously, you need to change slight things, and it's like I guess it's a bit like the playing squad. You need to freshen things up. So you might change the way you're trained from season to season slightly, or you might bring in a different coach, or you might let them do more training. So, but from a Saturday at 5 to 2 or 10 to 2, whenever we're going to change it, I don't think I've changed that much. Ross and other coaches might beg to differ on that. I don't think I've got grumpier as I've got older, like some people do. I think that's all right, but I guess you certainly get a bit more confident when you take a job first. It's I guess you think you're very fortunate because was there 42 clubs in Scotland and 12, 8, 20. So there's about 22 at this moment full time. So there's 20 jobs out of all these guys that go on these coaching courses every single year, and all these ex-players that want to be managers. So to get a job like Montrose's job with the people that I'm working with, from I think people will be getting bored of me saying about from the board of directors doing yourself and to my coaching staff to Ronnie. So to have the privilege of managing that is very, very fortunate. And I guess when you first come in, you're maybe just thinking, right, I need to get this right, and you're maybe much more single focused on doing well as a manager, because I think you get, when I got the job, you're the bottom of the league and you think, this is great, it's what an opportunity. And then the other guy at the other side of your head says, well, wait a minute, what if you actually get this team relegated? And then and that's you. Imagine having that around your neck, that you're the first manager in Scotland to take a team out of the league. So you're thinking, oh, I better not make a mess of this. So you have that going on your head. So I guess when you first come in, you're very conscious of the fact that you don't want to be a failure. Of course you don't, and you want to be a success. We all do. It doesn't matter what walk of life you're in, whether it's football coaching to the job I do on a daily basis, to the job you do, to the job any of the guys do that have asked these questions. So you want to be a success at that. But so I guess I've maybe mellowed a little bit. Again, Ross and I'll disagree with that when it comes at half time or during the game, but certainly after the game, hopefully a little bit more mellow than I used to be. Still a bad loser, and that won't change. That won't change. So I don't like losing, like most people, but you can be a bit gracious about it. And if I've done well, I think if I've watched the game and you're a bit more relaxed and you've got beat by a better team on the day, and then you just put your hands up and say, you know what, maybe next week's going to be our week. There's a hell of a lot of worse things happening, and especially this past, because what is it now, 10 months, 10, 11 months, whatever it is, since COVID kicked in, that I think we're all desperate to get back to it and enjoy it and embrace it. And a defeat will not feel as sore as what it did before COVID, that's for sure. So, but you'll change a lot of things along the way. That's probably a better question for people to answer. It's closer to me than me to answer. I'd like to think I'm the same honest person when it comes to dropping a player as to putting a player in the team. I still name the team on a Thursday night, so it gives the guys a chance to chap on the door as such if they're not happy about not playing. And then I'll be as honest as I can. I might not agree with me, but certainly I think the first thing you need to be is be honest with the guys you're bringing in, and be respectful of them, which I'm very mindful of. They're grown men, most of them, who are giving up their time. Okay, they're maybe getting some money for it, but money's not the key factor when you come to Montrose. It's playing for the club, and knowing what the club means to supporters, to directors as well is very important. So we're very keen to get that message across. But yeah, I think you could ask that to some other people to see how I've changed over the 4-year period. I don't think I've changed a lot, apart from my hair's got a bit greyer and a few more wrinkles and a couple of more kilos maybe. But yeah, apart from that, we're pretty much the same, I think.
We're all in that boat, and to be fair, actually, the referees union has just been on to say that you've definitely not mellowed in 4 years.
This year I've certainly mellowed from the referees. Referees and goalkeepers, so I'm not keen on any of that.
So basically, a goalkeeper that becomes a referee is just the worst thing.
That could never happen anyway, because the goalkeepers don't know the game anyway, so God knows how they're going to referee, but anyhow.
Right, okay. Yeah. Some might say that's a good asset.
A goalkeeping referee, God, what a thought that is.
Well, sure, we're on to our final question, our eighth and final one. So here we go. Do you get a sense of pride for what you've helped create and continue to do so on the pitch? And the fact that the town has increased pride and we are talked about in glowing terms throughout the national press and podcasts?
Probably kind of covered to an extent that slightly. I think, yes, there's no question of that. I think we should all be proud of the club and what it's achieved. I think we're just a small side of it, if I'm being honest. I think what Peter and his guys have done within the trust, within the town, is just remarkable. And it's huge congratulations to these guys that what they've done within the town has been inspirational for us. I think what I do or what the guys do is just a small part of it. For that 90 minutes on the park on a Saturday, it would be great to be more local, be seen a lot more, train locally. It's just not possible. It's not feasible to get guys to come to Montrose and do that and use facilities within Montrose if we could. But there's no doubt, I guess, when we took over the club, we were a wee bit of a, not say a laughing stock, because that's certainly not the case, but languishing in the bottom tier and languishing towards the bottom of the second division, which isn't nice. There's no doubt about that. And I guess you could say some clubs got to be in the bottom 2 or 3, but I certainly hope it's a hell of a long time before Montrose are back down there. But no, I think it's, and the beauty for me is after having been involved with the club, that this club will be here for a hell of a long time, regardless how long I'll be at the club as manager of it. The club will continue to grow and be successful with what they have and what they have in place. Beyond the coaching staff and the football team is remarkable. It really is. Even from yourselves doing, and obviously it's stopped because of COVID, but the bingo on a Friday night, for instance, just things like that, Ladies' Day, things like that, and what we'll bring to the town, even when you guys are doing your the hospitality, it's tremendous, and they're going into town and they've got positive things to say about being at the football club. We're hoping that the game's been okay and we've managed to win the game when they go in, but they'll certainly leave the club having had a really good day. Football can come and go, there's no doubt about that, but we're a small part of it, and it's been successful the last 4 years. There's no question of that. The 3 playoffs and a championship win is a great position for the club to be in, and long may it continue. I've no doubt that I'd love to say every season is going to be the same, but I'm sure there'll be times in the future where the season isn't as good and we'll have a bad season for one reason or another. Hopefully it's a long time before that happens. Somebody's disappeared. Here he is.
I'm back.
Sorry.
I'm back.
Sorry,
Don't back. 50p's in the electricity meter.
I was thinking that teachers not paying your bills again. But no. So well, as I say, it certainly gives you pride that you're part of something that's, and I keep saying it, it's a special place to work, and that is from what the trust do, working with board of directors, working with the staff that's at the club, and then I'm very fortunate to work with a coaching and a medical staff that is absolutely second to none, and they're all wanting the right things for Montrose Football Club, and they go above and beyond what's required to do that. And we've got a hell of a group of players at the moment that's the best I've worked with since I came to the club. and that's no slant on previous squads. It simply is the talent that we have and the energy we play with is great just now. So very exciting from that point of view, and it's good for the town. It's good because it gives people a focus for the week and look forward to Saturday. I think we're all in the same boat just now. You wake up on a Friday morning and there's no game to look forward to, or even I guess I'd wake up on a Monday morning looking forward to the game on the Saturday. But just now there's no focus, and that's for the right reasons. There's no doubt about that. We need to be safe and things like that. But once that comes back again, I've no doubt that we'll get the full backing of the town. And if we can be a small part of that success, as I say, what's set in place and what Peter and the boys have done with the trust is just remarkable. So the place it's in a good place. There's no doubt about that. But we certainly won't rest, because I think if you do, it can bite you in a rather naughty place.
There you
go. If you use that one, Brian might allow that one. But it can certainly come back and bite you if you think you've achieved what you need to achieve. And we'll keep striving to push the club as far as we can. I've no doubt that Peter will be doing that with the trust. As I say, it's an exciting time for the place. But if we can continue to bring smiles to faces in, then that's our job done, I guess, on a Saturday afternoon. These guys can do the hard work for the rest of the week. What they're doing, as I say, it's just remarkable.
Well, look, thank you very much for volunteering to do this for us tonight, Stuart, and taking time out. And again, thank you very much to the trust and to all the fans who've put their questions to you tonight. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we are back at Links Park at some point fairly soon.
I think we'll echo that. Ultimately, we need to be safe, and it needs to be that we can return to play. It'd be great to return to fans in the ground, but I think that's a while away yet. So if we can get any kind of football that is safe and we can get it to the fans through the streaming, then it's a bonus. But let's again, I just echo what you're saying. I hope everybody we're fans and their families are all safe. And that's the biggest thing at the moment. Let's make sure we get through this first and foremost, and then, as I say, football will take care of itself once we're out the other end, hopefully, and then we can all start enjoying Saturdays again, shouting at referees.
Yes.
I'm not shouting at referees because of Mellows. But so it's something we'll look forward to. But ultimately, at this moment in time, let's make sure we keep our friends and family safe, and then we'll take it from there.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks again, Stuart. Take care.
Sure, Scott. Take care of yourself. See you, pal.
Okay, pal.